Today is such a great interview. It's with a self-proclaimed elder millennial, a single elder millennial. In fact, a single female elder millennial, someone who told me, hey, my entire generation is a generation that because we survived through the recession and then we had to survive through the pandemic, we pretty much all thought there's no way we can buy a home. Well, guess what? For a $400,000 home, by using the unicorn team, this elder millennial, Carrie, got a home with only $12,000 out of pocket. You heard me right. Let's hear the story.
How to Buy a Home educates, protects, and connects first-time homebuyers to qualified vetted realtors in their area. Whether you're looking for DIY information or step-by-step guidance, How to Buy a Home is the #1 resource for first-time homebuyers.
All right, homies, time for another exciting interview from a brand new homeowner. Well, not quite brand new anymore, but new enough, new in 2025. This is Carrie, and we're very excited to have her here. Say hi to everyone, Carrie.
Hi.
Carrie has a really great story, and I think it's something that a lot of us can learn from, but we'll start first with Carrie. There are thousands of first-time homebuyers out there that want to know, oh my gosh, what's the biggest and best thing I can do? So what's your answer to that question?
So I have two sort of tips, right? The first one is, and I think you have probably stated this on a lot of your podcasts, is that you really need to know your needs versus like your needs and your must-haves versus like where you can be flexible, right? I think for me, it was sticking to what I really felt like was important in buying a house. I was originally looking in Denver. I ended up looking in Springs. And part of that was because I needed more space. I'm probably going to have to bring my mom in with me in the future. So it was a real big consideration, like the size of the house, the place. So that kind of thing. I think that's really thing number one, is just really knowing what you want and like sticking to it. And then the second thing was something I didn't really realize. It's just sort of be aware that when you're buying a house, you're also buying the property, right? And I'm not talking about in the sense of like realty, like, oh, how, how this is going to appreciate. I'm talking about like, I have 7 trees on my property. I'm going to have to take care of those trees. And I say that because 2.5 weeks into living here, my sewer drain backed up. So that was fun. And don't be afraid to use your home insurance, I guess. Because, yeah, it was wild. It's been a wild few weeks. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Carrie, I love it because I'm sure there's people going, wait a minute, tell me all about that. So, okay, first I want to go back to what you said. Thank you so much. I've been doing this 20 years and 6 years on a podcast, and you came up with a better word than I did. When you talked about needs versus flexibility.
Yeah.
I always say compromise.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, to me, it's flexibility. It's like, what is the thing that I can be kind of flexible on and what can I change in the future?
And that's awesome because I'm Captain Positivity and you just took my compromise word and made it more positive.
Great.
It is totally true. I think that I have probably put it on the table where it's too much black or white or yes or no, but there is a flexibility, and that comes in the sentence that you just said. It's not necessarily you're giving something up, but you might see something where you're like, okay, I can create that or something near that in the future, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Talk to us about your flexibility because you have a really unique story. Started in Denver and you ended up in a whole other city.
Yeah.
With a whole different
Denver,
unicorn.
I knew was pricey. And like, so originally you got me a unicorn team. I went with Anne originally. I told her up front, like, there's a good chance I'm going to look at Springs too. And she said she'd have to shift me down to somebody in Springs, which she did. She shifted me to Lana. I started looking in December, which is definitely off season. And part of that was I'd kind of dragged my feet on contacting the loan officer. And the loan officer was like, if you want your closing costs covered, you need to start now. And so, this is December. It's right before Christmas. I'm about to go on vacation to go see my family. And so Anne started sending me the houses that I could afford and where they were and the size that I wanted. And it was really the size of the house, which of course makes sense. Denver's a bigger area. Like you get essentially like Colorado Springs and Denver to me are essentially comparably priced, except for the fact that you get more house in Springs than you do in Denver. And the thing about it is I had lived in Springs for about 14 years before moving to Denver in 2019 for a job. And so, but see, the circumstances of my job changed, right? I basically, once the pandemic happened, we're all remote. So I can work from anywhere now in the state because I work for the state. So basically, I made a decision kind of on the fly. Like, I really enjoyed living in Springs. I missed Springs. When I lived in Denver, I wasn't quite as happy there. So like, there were a lot of factors. It was the size of the house. It was the pricing. It was where I prefer to live, right? But in terms of flexibility, I feel like I'm looking at some older houses. Like, part of it was I wanted to be closer to the west side of Springs, and like those are older houses, and so like you have to be flexible. And certainly, I think the inventory around that time was maybe not as good as it might be in the spring. But so you do have to be flexible on what you get, right?
So it's so great because what we're talking about is what I always try to impart on everyone is that, people will go, is it better for me to buy in Denver or Colorado Springs? Well, there's 1,000 factors in that.
Yeah.
Because, for you, one of the bigger factors was that potential size for the future potential with your mom, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Anne did try and kind of convince me. She's like, you could get a 2-bedroom, like 2-bath in Denver and then like move a couple years down the line, which is true because my mom is not going to immediately come in with me. But I was just like, yeah, but I want to go back to Springs. Like that was kind of where my gut was going. I was like, yeah, and I also hate moving. So, so that didn't sound great to me.
We've had stories here on the podcast where people have been working with a unicorn realtor and a lender, and the lender tells them, hey, I can't beat what that builder's going to give you. So go with them.
Right.
And that's the difference in working with a team that is really thinking long term. So even though Denver didn't work for you, you had not just an economical factor in Colorado Springs, but there was an attachment. And most importantly, there was your gut.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And your Denver unicorn is perfectly willing to say, hey, give you a few months of work there to figure it out. And then once you figure it out, we just transfer you over to someone else. And it went pretty quick. You talked to Lana in December.
Yeah, so it was only a couple weeks because like what she was sending me, I was looking at going, nah. Yeah. And when Anne told me that like you could get a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, I was like, no, I can't. I could compromise and go smaller on the house, but I really don't want to. And so I was just like, yeah, just transfer it down to Springs and I'll just start looking at Springs. It's better. So.
There are other things to take into consideration. I know there are some people that would pay $1 million not to have to move a second time.
Oh yeah.
And, and there are some people that would be like crazy. I'd move 5 times a year if it saved me 10 grand a year.
I truly hate moving. So yeah. And part of what Anna was saying was like, well, from a real estate perspective, like I could buy in Denver and sell higher, right? Like I would probably earn more money if I had stayed in Denver, and that is true. But this is really just a house to me, like I'm trying to live here, and
not an investment.
Yeah, right.
And that's the thing is you can come into something, and when you do have those two pieces, that's one of the things that you discovered with Anne, and then was like, hey, you know what? I'm not an investor buyer, so Colorado Springs. It ticks more boxes.
Right.
And it went pretty quickly. You started at Christmas time and you closed end of February, I have in my notes.
Well, and what's funny is actually I didn't end up going down there as much as I was going to because we got more snow on the weekends than we thought. Spring, like Colorado is, we have snow, but like we don't have it all the time. Like it's not like an all the time thing. And so every time I was trying to go down there, we'd get like dumped on with snow. And so I think I only went down there like a couple of times, but like Lana was really great. And she took me to like a bunch of houses. I probably saw like 20 houses. Like I probably went down there twice and saw like 20 houses. So at least.
Depending on where we are in the country, we have to work seasonally.
Mm-hmm.
And, like we're used to this because many times people will come in like moving from Atlanta to Los Angeles.
Right.
And, when they come out here, it's like, all right, we're seeing 10 homes a day, bring power bars, we'll stop at Starbucks, and you plan the day. And oh my gosh, that's right. I forgot. You're in Colorado. You Denver to Colorado Springs in December, January, February.
Yeah.
You seriously had to work around the weather.
Yeah, we did. Well, it was funny because like, and Lana was really flexible for that too, which was great because we kind of look at the weather, and the weather, like Colorado Springs, it changes like on a dime. And so she'd be like, it's snowing this morning. Do you want to come down? I'm like, no, no, I don't. So yeah, so she was really flexible. It was great.
If you're searching, I will let everybody know out there. Carrie is a great example of a story. Can you buy a home when it's snowing? Yes. Is it the easiest thing in the world? No. But if you are the person that has a realtor who's willing to, because I mean, we end up setting up tons and tons of appointments, trying to do it geographically, back to back. You got somebody who's saying you can only come between 2:30 and 2:45. And then you've got to figure out which homes you can see before that and after that. And then it snows in the morning and it's all gone.
Right.
So
right.
That planning takes it's the F word again, Carrie. It's flexibility.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Yeah. Yeah. You have to be willing to be flexible about your timing. So, and I actually think I took some time off of work because like the weekends, like sometimes those systems get in a pattern. And so they were just going on the weekends and I was like, I'm going to have to take a day off just to go look at houses. Sorry, but No,
I do tell people all the time, it's really silly, but all the stuff you do ahead of time, a year ahead of time, one of those things is start stacking up your PTO days.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, because you're going to need days before when you're shopping. You're going to need days when you're under contract for inspections and appraisals and things like that. And then it's stressful, so you might need a PTO day for mental health.
That too. Yeah.
Okay, talk to us about where you were with your financing. You started with us. Reached out to me in August of last year.
Yes.
Were you like total beginner at that point, or did you have money saved and had a little bit of money?
I had a little bit of money saved. Now, I didn't have quite enough. Like I did wait about 6-ish months, and that was what I kind of gauged in order to really fulfill the down payment. And I was trying to get closing, but I was like a little nervous because I need some saving, like I need some extra. And so I talked to the lending officer about that, and she was like, we can get the closing costs negotiated, and you don't have to deal with that. And she did actually, or the realtor did. So they paid, I think it was $10,000. So like I think the closing was like $8,000 something, but then I had like $2,000 for like a buy down for the first year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and your home was a little over 400,000. What did you put down? Were you putting down 3, 5,
it was 12,000. It was like 12 something. 12. I don't remember. It was like 12,000, 12, 13. Yeah. Somewhere in there.
Okay. So you were either using a 3%
3%.
conventional.
Yeah. I was doing 3% down. Yeah.
Okay. So in August of last year, you were like, maybe I should buy a house. And then for 12 grand in February, you bought a house.
Yeah.
You're so nonchalant about this.
I know. Well, I mean, it was a long road in terms of like my history. Like, buying a house was something I didn't think I was actually going to be able to do. Certainly not by myself. My early career, I was making low wages, and it was kind of a pipe dream for me. Like I hate to be all elder millennial about it, but I am an elder millennial. And like, the joke is that we can't buy houses.
Yes.
And like, I kind of got it under the wire. I got lucky because I got student loan forgiveness, in 2021, because I will say that taking on that level of debt was hard for me because of the student loans that I had encountered. Like that's like an albatross, and it feels like an albatross around your neck when you're doing it, but I had to reframe it in my head as like, this is an investment and it's something for me and it's something I can sell. And it's not the same thing as my student loans. Like I had to really do that work internally. Right. So
I'll go one step further with you, Carrie.
Mm-hmm.
What was your rent before you bought this home?
$1,800 a month.
What's your PITI right now?
Gosh, I don't know.
Payment.
Or like, what am I paying monthly?
Yeah.
So the total is going to be like $3,100, but it's currently like $2,800. So
because of the buy down.
Yeah, because of the buy down.
Okay. Here's the difference in mentality for that mental shift. There was a rent replacement strategy that also could have come with it. Yes, it is investment. Yes, it's long term. But the math of it is you get a student loan, that's a single payback
Right.
and you're just paying it back that month and getting nothing out of it.
Right.
You are already paying $1,800 a month.
Right.
So $3,000 a month is really $1,200.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And so you're putting $1,200 in that mental shift for yourself because you already had to make that payment anyway.
Yeah.
But again, I love it. It makes me so excited that you are so nonchalant about it because you did the mental shift. But my gosh, I wish millions of people out there. What did you call yourself? An elder millennial?
Yeah.
That's
I'm totally
awesome.
elder millennial. Yeah.
See, because I connect with the elder millennials because I guess I'm kind of a younger. I don't know. I'm Gen X.
Younger X.
I'm no.
Younger Gen X.
I don't know. Maybe I want to tell myself I'm a younger X, but I'm old. Drink.
Fair.
But yeah, because I've been hearing about the Zillennials.
Mm-hmm.
My creative director, JT, who comes on the show every once in a while, he's a Zillennial.
Mm-hmm.
But your generation is there's no way in hell we can do it.
Yeah, because we hit the recession. And that really affected my early income, and it did, and along with student loans at that point that were getting higher and more out of control. So you're still
employment-wise, during the recession, did you get to keep the state job, keep the benefits, or was this something you moved into?
Yeah,
after
so I got employed right before the pandemic. You're talking about the pandemic recession. Yeah. So yes. Luckily, my division was actually growing at that time, and they were just working from home. Like everybody just worked from home, and now it's just a perk of the job. And so like technically I do have to go back into the office like maybe once a month, but that's not a bad commute to Denver. Like, once, twice a month's not hard. So yeah.
I have a guy who did that from San Jose to Charlotte, North Carolina. So he just had to go back once a month for that affordability.
Yeah.
Once a month to take a little drive for you. As long as it's not snowing, I bet it's not that bad.
Yeah, that's fine.
And some of the most beautiful drives in the country. My family and I drove through Colorado a little while ago. Holy moly.
Yeah, that's usually if you go west towards the mountain, like into the mountains.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's beautiful here for sure.
Financially, you got to work a 3%. I want to reiterate the fact because you did it during this time that you even said, lower inventory would be better in the spring. I had somebody today reach out to me, be like, gosh, it's the market right now is so discouraging. Here's the dirty little secret. It's always discouraging.
Yeah.
Because when it's hot, it's too competitive and there's too many people.
Right.
When the market's dropping and prices are dropping, the sellers are pains in the butt because they thought they were going to get 50,000 more. And so the getting offers accepted are hard. Or what you did was during that scarce time when everyone else is scared, your team came into you saying, oh no, we can get closing costs. Like, no big deal? Is that how they presented it to you?
Well, it was more like you're more likely to get closing costs now than you will in the spring when it heats up. So that was the way Christine sort of presented it to me, is she's like, you need to start looking now. Because she says, when I come in on January 1st, guess what everyone's New Year's resolution is? To buy a house. And so that's why you're gonna end up in a more competitive field. So I didn't have any competition to get this house. So, and it had been on the market for a while. Like it's, but the benefit to me living in Springs is like I knew all of the areas of Springs because I had lived there and I enjoyed living there. I knew the neighborhoods. I knew, what I felt comfortable with and where I was comfortable. So okay,
so you saw the homes in like a blitz.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you have any tips on blitz home shopping if people are doing this a little bit away? Because for the listeners not from Colorado, how far is Denver from Colorado Springs? What's the trip?
It's about an hour. It depends on where in Denver you're trying to go. So like hour and a half, maybe 2 hours if you're going like way north. It just kind of depends. I would say it's a good hour. Now, if you hit traffic, it's more than that. But yeah.
So what kind of things did you learn about the home shopping process, boots on the ground?
Gosh, it was so overwhelming and like it's just like a blur. I will say, because I was looking at older houses because I knew I wasn't going to be able to like buy a massively great expensive house like new, and so like part of why I ended up buying this house is it was actually a pretty good renovation. Like they redid the kitchen and they redid the home well for the most part. And they're like, it's an older home, but it looks pretty nice. It was funny because all of like the service, I've had so many various service people coming in and out lately, and they look around, they go, yeah, this is a good renovation. Like the mover guys were like, yeah, this is good. This is pretty good.
Now,
So,
did you get that affirmation twice? Like once there with your unicorn realtor, and then the big one, did you get that affirmation at the inspection?
yes. So the inspection, like when the inspection happened, like so it was somebody that the realtor had recommended, and he did a great job. Like when I had questions, he was able to answer them. Most of the thing, we did have a list of things that like needed to be fixed. Most of them were kind of small-ish things, or not like they weren't structural issues or like major issues. Like they had to do the radon, and the radon abatement, whatever. So one of the things that did come up was that there were roots in the sewer line, right? And so he had scoped it and he said, well, I can't get my camera further down because of the roots in the sewer line. And one of the things they needed to do was to clear out the sewer line and rescope it and then let us know, what happened. And so supposedly they did that. I have a handwritten thing. Now I didn't recheck it at that point. So my sewer line did back up 2.5 weeks into me living here. So I will say that was an issue. I don't know exactly what happened there. So I'm not going to try and guess because, again, I have 7 trees on my property. Most of them are in the backyard. When I actually came in and toured the house the first time, I actually miscounted. I thought there were 5. There are 7. And now I'm realizing how expensive these trees are. And also, of course, they go into the sewer line, right? However, I don't have any trees in the front yard. And that's where the sewer line is. So they were thinking it was from old trees. And actually, after I moved in, the neighbors have been very nice.
Wait, what? What? Back up.
Sorry.
So, no. So the root intrusion is in the front yard where the 7 trees are not?
Yes, correct. So let me tell you what happened. So I talked to the neighbor who lived across the street. He's lived here for 40 years. And he said, you had 3 plum trees in the front yard.
So they removed them, did a stump removal, and did a full stump removal and put like sod over it.
Yeah. I need to get I need to get the yards redone. Primarily is actually the biggest thing I have to do here is get the yard stuff redone, which is why I mentioned the property and not just the house. Because the house is actually pretty good for the most part for an older house.
Okay, you said homeowner's insurance. Mm-hmm. Was this a home warranty or homeowner's insurance that cover it? It was my homeowner.
So I got extra insurance for a sewer line backup, and I'm glad that I did. It was actually pushed on me a little bit by the insurance people, and I almost went back to them and told them, please, take it off because it makes my insurance more expensive. But I'm glad I didn't because I had environmental abatement that I needed to do at that point. So,
okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. If you are talking to your insurance company and you feel like you're getting pushed, I am not saying there aren't people that may make you feel that way. But I am saying, unless whatever it is they're talking about, you've had another full $1,000 inspection. Like if they're talking to you about the roof or if they're talking to you about the foundation, and the only thing you've had is a general inspection of the home or a sort of scope, maybe, then do not chintz out. Because let me tell you a little story about when I was doing real estate and we weren't doing sewer inspections yet, way back in the 2000 aughts. And my wonderful clients, I think it was like 2 weeks after their 1-year home warranty that would have covered it, the entire front yard sinkhole, boom.
Ooh.
Yeah, because we didn't scope it well enough. And the general contractor or the general inspection companies are now adding that, but that's amazing. So you decided to get it, and 2.5 weeks in, you needed it.
Yes. Yeah, and don't be afraid to use it because I didn't even think about it until like the abatement people came in and they were like, well, you can file a claim. And I was like, oh yeah, there we go.
Oh my gosh.
That's what I should be doing.
Anything. The first, I mean, my wife and I have been married 20 years. We've had 2 kitchen redos on insurance.
Yeah.
and that's what you pay for.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. How sewer nerdy can I get with you?
I mean, I don't know how sewer nerdy I am, but you can.
Did they hydrojet blast to get it out? Did they give you a sleeve?
I don't know. I just know he rooted it.
Or did they just replace the pipes?
Yeah, no. So he just pulled the stuff out. Like, that's it. Like, it was just a local clog, in the sewer line. So, and so far it's fine since then. So.
Oh no, you didn't get a sleeve because the trees are gone. Okay.
Yeah.
So they do this thing where they blast through it, and that relieves the clog.
Okay, I think it was pulling stuff out, but I don't know.
And then there's the physical,
right?
And then they have this thing like it's I don't know what it is, but it goes straight down like a coating inside the pipe, and it kind of cuts the roots as it goes, and then it stays there as a intrusion sleeve. But you don't need that. So talk to us about your 7 trees. What's going on with that? So is it's just you right now?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm the only one who lives here right now. Eventually maybe my mom will come live with me, but yeah, it's just me. Yeah, so what the inspector did, the other thing the inspector said was he was looking around the trees and he was going, "You need an arborist soon."
Oh my God.
And he says, he actually encouraged us to put it as one of the contingencies for buying the house. However, the realtor said, we have so many other things right now. We had like a list.
You can choose
of things,
Yeah.
So she encouraged me not to. So she said, maybe don't. Yeah, and so we didn't. So I still have to get the arbor. I'm going to be doing that soon. Yeah. I do think 2 of the trees are dead. So for context, apartments surround my house on 2 sides, right? And so I think what happened is they put a line of trees over on this side, and I have a couple on this side too, but like they don't really block that much, so I don't understand why. But and these are old growth trees. These are really nice trees. I don't necessarily want to get rid of them, but maybe. I don't know. They're expensive. So
yeah. Well, and just when you guys were going through it and figuring out what are priority things to do and not do, it doesn't mean you can't call your unicorn Lana back and go, okay, now I want the arborist.
Right.
Who do you know?
Right.
And if we don't know someone, we'll call around. I can't believe if you'd told 30-year-old me that, 40-year-old me, yeah, I've got an arborist. What?
Right.
Welcome to real estate.
Right. Right. Yeah. And that was not something I was expecting, because like when you're buying a house, like especially as a first time home buyer, I'm thinking of the house and the stuff and the HVAC system and the blah, I'm not really thinking about the trees, but yeah, they're kind of important too.
Hey, how are things going with the new financial position in the home? Because I've actually by the time this podcast goes on the air, you will have had the opportunity to listen to Jeannie, the credit Jeannie, because I called her because a bunch of the student loan stuff is coming back. Is yours coming back?
I don't think so, because I got mine forgiven in 2021, and also it was forgiven by
complete forgiveness.
Yeah. So I worked in jobs that actually qualified for public service loan forgiveness. So I don't think so.
You had the inside scoop.
Yeah. I was pretty lucky. So,
and now with your job being with the state, you're pretty steady. Are you a budgeting person so that you can like kind of calculate what's up, or are you gonna be a budgeting person now?
I'm not like a big spreadsheet person. Like I am for work. Like I'm what I have to be, but like spreadsheets make me go, okay. I do budget. I know basically what I have and what I can spend, and I do pay attention to that pretty well. I mean, that's how I've saved pretty well for the last several months.
So you got the $10,000 credit, which $8,000 covered your entire closing costs. So all you had to pay was the 3% down, $12,000. Holy moly!
Yeah,
that's like a first and last and a security deposit.
Yeah, I know.
That's insane because you had $2,000 left over to do a buy down, so it's not even that much. What are you? Are you just going to be saving technically?
Well,
like
I'm
less?
also going to be, fixing things, but generally speaking, I'm going to be saving. I mean, the house itself is pretty good. Like, I'm actually not super worried about it for the most part. I am trying to get my feet up or I'm under me a little bit because I did have a little bit of overlap from my lease to my mortgage. So like, this is going to be the first month upcoming that I don't. So I'm like, yay, now I can kind of figure out exactly how I can allocate stuff. So.
That's fantastic. Well, I would say congratulations, you prepared so well, and that you were, but you paid $12,000 to buy a house. I mean, because of the fact that you were in a good position, because you had your credit in the right position, because you had the team that not only identified the fact that a seller credit could be a potential, but be so proud of yourself to have the chutzpah to watch the weather report and buy when everyone else was hunkered down and freaking out. Because you're right, they make the resolution on January 1st, but they don't go out to see their first home till Easter.
Right.
We'll wait months.
Right, exactly. So,
this has been such an incredible story. This is going to be so inspirational for so many people. My elder millennial, single female, buying a home in the snow.
Well, that's right.
You're like the hero's journey. It's incredible. Carrie, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Of course. Thank you.
I can't thank Carrie enough for that interview. It was just amazing. And, a lot of times when I put things up like this, people go, oh my God, you got to be careful. That sounds like so too good to be true. It sounds too salesy. I understand that. And I absolutely do not preach that everybody should call a unicorn right now because you're going to be able to buy a $400,000 house with only $12,000 down and get a giant seller concession. No, that doesn't happen for everyone. And you don't get the right perfect home. And you don't work with one realtor who says, you know what, I'm not the best realtor for you for everything that you want. Go down here. But how do you get all that to happen? By working with a team that cares and that has the experience and that has the creativity. So no, I'm not going to stand up and say, call me today and I'll get you a house for next to nothing. Because really, think about it, 12 grand all in. But I am going to say, when you work with the right team, that's the whole point of How to Buy a Home, which really should be called How to Plan to Buy a Home. Now, if you're brand new and you're confused, you can go to the 10 basic steps that started episode 301, and they are not generic tips. It's the real deal, the foundation of every successful plan that we've ever helped build here at How to Buy a Home. And there is no one size fits all. So figure out your own personal path. That's 301 through 310. And of course, there are tons of other stories just like Carrie's, the listener interviews. And if you're getting deep into it and you're not understanding what everyone's talking about, check out the real estate terms. That's vocabulary, definitions, so you understand what everything's talking about. I go A to Z and it starts at episode 94. And of course, if you've still got questions, go to howtobuyahome.com. There's even an Ask David button. Ask me, and I will speak to you. No charge, no gatekeeping, just real answers from a real person. Because the one thing I have learned over time in getting the word out through the podcast is that Carrie's story, yeah, it sounds sensational. Yeah, it sounds like a bait and switch sales pitch, but it's really not. Because there are 3 million real estate agents out there, and I have vetted down to only about 250 unicorns. I've fired more unicorns than I've actually hired. I have ignored more people who reach out to me to be a unicorn by 4 or 5 times the number of people that actually are in this incredible stable that can take someone like Carrie, who's been thinking about this and trying to figure it out, and not just help them get a pre-approval with a loan and then open a door and help them buy a house, but to actually walk through the entire process, even to the point that, you know what, this city maybe isn't the best for you. Let's hook you up with someone else in another city. Honestly, I can't put a bigger ringing endorsement on the unicorns than Carrie's story right there. And your story, I have a feeling, can be just as successful. You can do this.
Looking for more DIY education or your own personal step-by-step guidance through the home buying journey? Since 2019, How to Buy a Home has been the #1 resource for first-time home buyers. So visit howtobuyahome.com to get started.